Nitro Kid 98 here today, guys, and we're back with the SRT4 for another video. And today we're going to be installing a boomba fuel rail. I finally got my hands on one. I originally wanted red to accent all the other red parts on the car, but I got such a great deal on this, I figured I'd go ahead and try blue. I had the little red, white, and blue thing going on. So we're going to see how well that works out. I don't think it's going to work as good as red would, but for the price I got, it is what it is. I'm going to take that chance. We looked at an OBX fuel rail. I basically heard nothing good about them, so I didn't go that route. I know on the 420A, I figured out how to make them work without leaking, and that's fine and all, but being that it should be a direct bolt-on part, I don't want to modify it. You know, I don't like having to modify something that should be direct bolt-on. And OBX is known for having poor quality on their fuel rails, so as far as OBX stuff goes, the fuel rail side of them definitely staying away from. So we're going to go ahead and bolt this on, and I do have a filter, so don't freak out if there's no filter there. I do have a filter, and I'm probably going to put it on in this video if I have time. So now we're going to go ahead and start taking stuff apart. Alright, for the first part of an install, when you're doing anything in the fuel system, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is you want to come to this box on the SRT4, and you want to pull out your fuel pump relay. What this is doing is this is stopping the fuel pump from pumping gas, so when I unplug that, gas doesn't go every damn where. Is it a big deal for gas to go everywhere? No, not really, but it's a mess. It could cause other problems and stuff like that. And I just would rather not have gas everywhere and have to smell it the whole install. So we're going to do it this way. Once you pull that plug, you need to get in the car, start it up, and let it run until it shuts off. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, by the car not starting, that lets me know that I've bled every bit of fuel out of the fuel system. Everything's ran back to the tank. There's nothing in the fuel rail. There's probably still going to be a little residual gas, but nothing as bad as it would be if you don't do that. You don't necessarily have to do that. I know plenty of people that just pop it open and let fuel go everywhere. Not a fan of that. Once again, I don't want to smell gas the whole time I do it. Just makes the whole install a little bit cleaner, everything like that. And anytime you can have a good install go nice, clean, and easy, it's always better than when it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and start unbolting the factory fuel rail now and popping the injectors off of it once we get it off. Alright, so before we unbolt the fuel rail, what we're going to do is we're going to unplug the injector clips. On the side there's basically a little push tab. You just push that tab in and lift up. There's already a couple broken off of this fuel rail from the previous owners. So we're going to pull that up, and then you're going to have to unplug your map just to get it out of the way. So we're going to kind of tuck that back there. You don't want to, it's kind of hard to find a good spot. Oh, that didn't take pipe. It worked really well for me. Right here, in order to unplug your fuel system, there is a quick detach. Basically, the piece that is on the fuel rail, existing fuel rail, there is a gray piece. There's this piece right here. What you want to do is squeeze that piece, and it'll allow you to lift your fuel line up off of it. Let's set the fuel rail right there, nice and gently. Go ahead and pull that, and it should just lift right off. Depending on how long it's been on there, it might be a little stubborn, and there you go. And there was still a little residual gas, but nothing compared to what it would have been had I not bled it out. So that worked out really well. Now we're going to go ahead and start unbolting the fuel rail. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and unbolt the fuel rail now. Because of these janky ass factory bolts, you're not going to be able to use a ratchet, because not even a deep well socket is going to slide over those. So what we're going to use is a 13mm wrench. We're just going to kind of cock it in there, and be careful when you do this, because especially this one right here, you were extremely close to this injector tab, the top. If you hit that and chip it, the chance of that connector not wanting to stay on is pretty good. So all you got to do is break it loose, and then you're going to be able to spin it by hand. And watch out, there is a washer on there. There you go. That's the janky little bolt. Like, I have never seen anything like that. And I don't really care to ever see one again. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. And this right here, you got to kind of be careful, but you're not pulling towards the injector, so it's not that big a deal. All you really want to do is just kind of loosen them up. After that, you can spin them off by hand. And then we're going to go ahead and pull the fuel rail off. Now you got to be careful with this. You don't want to mess up any of your injectors. I mean, injectors, they're sensitive. They're not like super sensitive or anything, but you still kind of want to be careful with them. You just don't want to grab on there and just go jerking away. So we'll go ahead and I basically pull a little bit on this side and a little bit on that side. Not getting too crazy with it. And there you go. Alright, on your fuel rail, you have these little guys on every fuel injector. These are your fuel injector clips. These are what hold the fuel injector onto the rail. Now this is how it would look if it was still bolted onto the car. So, flip it around, and these injector clips are really easy to take off. All you do is press it forward. They can be kind of a pain sometimes. You'll get one that wants to work with you and some that wants to work against you. There you go, your injector clip is off. Be very easy, kind of slightly rotate your injector, wobble it a little bit, and it should come right out of the rail. Now you've got to remember, these things have been in here for a while, so they're not always going to come out real easy. There you go, I got it off, but I got fuel everywhere, but it's all good. There is still residual fuel in the rail because it couldn't all run back to the tank, and there it is. So we're going to go ahead and continue taking the rest of these off, and then we're going to mount them into the new rail, and we'll be good to go. So we got all the fuel injectors off the fuel rail now. We're going to be putting them into the boomba fuel rail. They're not going to require the clips to go back into the boomba. But before you do any of that, this is a great time to inspect the injector O-rings, make sure there's no damage. Yes, just because they didn't leak before doesn't mean they won't now. You've pulled them out of that fuel rail. There may have been pieces of the fuel or the O-ring that basically got, kind of stuck to the fuel rail from being in there so long in so many thermal expansions. And when you pulled it out, could have caused it to slightly rip and tear to where it's not actually noticeable. But when you put it into the new fuel rail and everything and turn it on, it leaks. So we're going to go ahead and oil all these up because I've inspected all mine. They're good to go. And that's going to allow them to slide into the new fuel rail without taking a chance of damaging them. Alright, so I got all the injectors into the new boomba fuel rail. And to give you a way of knowing exactly how to put these fuel injectors back on the right way, always face your clips towards where the fuel is going to go in. And there's also cutouts right here for the injector plugs, so that kind of helps you too. Now this doesn't necessarily work with the OBX. I've never seen one, so I'm not exactly sure how that works, and can't really walk you through that because, well, I have a boomba. So we're going to go ahead and put this back onto the car now. So we're going to install the boomba fuel rail back with all the injectors installed. You just want it to be kind of easy. You don't want to like smash them in there real hard or anything like that. And we should be good. Alright, so we got the fuel rail back installed. When you tighten everything down, you do not have to go ape shit on it. Just get them nice and snug. That's really all you got to do there. We're going to go ahead and then hook up our injector clips back. And our map sensor. Don't forget your map sensor. I would like to eventually run this under the intake manifold, give it a little bit cleaner looks. I don't like the fact of everything up here looking kind of nice and you just got this nasty looking wire loom and harness all up in the way. Not a fan of that at all. Bring my fuel line over. We'll clip it in. There you go. Hook our map up. Alright, everything is installed. Everything should be good. Go ahead and check everything over. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to hook our fuel pump relay back up. And start her up and see how everything works. Basically check our work. Make sure everything is exactly as it needs to be. Anytime you unplug your fuel relay, and before you go to start your car, what you want to do is you want to turn your key into the on position. You should hear that hum. That hum is your fuel pump priming the system. I hear my fuel pump, and I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times, make sure the system's completely primed. Now, before I start the car, I'm going to go up here and check for leaks. Last thing you do, we want to start it, have fuel going everywhere. That's why you want to prime it so many times. Make sure you got a good pressure built up, so if there's a leak, it's going to show it to you. Okay, as you can see, there's no leaks anywhere. Everything is exactly what it needs to be, which means all the injector seals that go into the fuel rail, well, they sealed up nicely just like they need to. Now, we're going to start the car. So we checked for leaks. There's no leaks. I'm going to go ahead and prime the system one more time before I go attempt to start it, just to make sure there's fuel at the rail, and here we go. Alright, so the SRT4 is running like a champ with the new boomba fuel rail installed. No leaks, no nothing. I couldn't be happier with the way the install went. It literally didn't take long at all, which it shouldn't to do a fuel rail. Now in an Eclipse it would, because you got to take the intake and everything off. But this install went really nicely. I'm really happy with it. Took the chance while I had the injectors out, wiped them down, cleaned everything, inspected everything, make sure there's no damage. You need to always do that when you're in there because it's a lot easier to take these off. On the Eclipse it'd be a little harder to take the fuel rail off because you got to take the intake and everything off, but on these it's actually really simple. I really like that. But guys, that's the video. I hope this helped for anybody that wants to put a boomba fuel rail, anything, whether it's just for looks or you're wanting it because of the options it allows you to do, like run a fuel cell, have a nitrous tap or anything like that. I hope this video helped a lot. So anyways, guys, this has been Nitro Kid 98. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up, and there's a button either here or here. I have no idea, because I'm talking to you right now telling you how to install a boomba fuel rail. You need to punch that subscribe button, that's because that's what it says. And drop a comment in the comment section below, guys. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, guys.